My name is Dave Miller. I'm now a Professor Emeritus in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. I've had roles in the department as Department Chair and in the School of Engineering as Acting Dean and on the campus. The first course that Saul Penner, the chairman, asked me to teach was in potential flow. I had never had a course in potential flow as a chemical engineer. I mean, aerospace and mechanicals knew it, but I had dealt with the topic in my research, so I knew what it was about. So he said, well, if you have any questions, he said, you ever had a course in potential flow? And I said, no. He said, well, just go down and ask Professor Olfey. He'll know about potential flow. This is real. And so I went down to Olfey, and I said, Dan Olfey, Coley. By the way, I was the second assistant professor hired in my department. So it was all top down, all tenured faculty, very distinguished. So I said, Dan, what's the textbook I should use? And he told me what the best one in the field was. It was a text by Milne Thompson, which is about that thick. We were in Urey Hall, and I was down the hall. So I was going to teach potential flow, a course I'd never had. And so I'll make it short. I sat down and taught myself potential flow. I was only about 3 days ahead of the class. They were graduate students. This was graduate students. So they'd already had it as undergraduates. And I think I worked every problem in Milne Thompson, the book. And if I didn't know the answer, I would go down and ask Dan Olfey, and he was very helpful, and Paul Libby too. And so it's probably one of the best courses I ever taught. Oh, I should say one thing in the 70s that did happen, which is important. It happened when Paul Libby was chairman. We asked for and got permission to offer a BS degree, because at that time no one on campus offered a BS, only a BA. That was part of the philosophy of the college system, liberal arts. They take a Common Core curriculum and then get a major. So we realized that our students deserved a BS degree because that was acknowledged in the fields they were going into. So we finally convinced the campus, and it wasn't easy because of the mentality of the college system, to let us offer a BS degree. That was in mid-70s. And that was a big step forward. And immediately after we did it, all the departments in science and math and stuff offered the BS also. But we took the first step. The department decided they wanted to put forth a program in chemical engineering, which we didn't have. We had taught the fundamentals of mechanical, and so we got one new FTE, and we hired, right at 1979, Stan Middleman to start our engineering program. He was a well-known chemical engineer. So he came out, and we initiated a chemical engineering program in the Department of Applied Mechanics and Engineering Science. By the way, when chemical engineering started and recruited, I said they started in the late 70s and early 80s, so Lee was here. Chemical engineering actually hired the first woman faculty in our department. That was Jan Talbot. And then the department hired Ann Holger and Tippy Markenskoff and Joanna McKittrick. So I was serving the department and the campus in those roles. And I stayed in the Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs office for 10 years, 2 of which I became acting Senior Vice Chancellor. So I really I really appreciate that because I got to see the quality of the rest of the campus and how they behave. And it was just amazing to me how good all the campus was. And when I was acting Senior Vice Chancellor, I actually had to approve of all the promotions. So they had a great structure on campus. I don't know if you know, there's a Senate committee called CAP, Committee on Academic Affairs, and they review all of the proposals from the departments for promoting their faculty. And then CAP would pass their recommendation over to the Senior Vice Chancellor, and then I had to review it and approve it. And it was automatically 90% of the time. So I got to review the files of some pretty distinguished colleagues in all of the disciplines, and I just couldn't get over how it wasn't just my department who I thought was outstanding, it was the faculty in all the departments, and I could see what they were doing, and I really enjoyed that. So I think that's always distinguishes about the breadth of our faculty